I've previously covered on this Sunday, 9 August 2026, the heat exhaustion and heat stroke, not necessarily in that order. And if not watching this day, you know, on a previous day, if you're watching this after this day. I'm Tanis of Seattle, and today is Sunday, 9 August 2026 AD. And I was like, I've covered them in some sense, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and I was like, there's things that can happen in heat. And I was like, is there anything else that could happen in heat? And I was like, well, I just like through hiking. So I've been on a through hike. I went on a through hike through Haleakala on Maui, a Hawaiian island, back in 2013. Like approximately March 2013. And so this is one where I'm like, so if I were to do, some of the trails I've brought up are like Buran Way in Ireland, Te Aroe in New Zealand, that kind of thing. A long distance trail, be it like 100+ miles or 1,000+ miles or something like that. Continuous footsteps. What might in on-trail ailments be? So like heat exhaustion, heat stroke, that's, you know, heat dependent. I was like, could I come up with anything else? Maybe heat dependent, maybe inspired by like my running training. Is there anything I encounter or think about when I'm out pounding the pavement that might translate to on trail? And I was like, well, I take safety measures and precautions to avoid problems. So I was like, how about two things I do not struggle with? However, like in that sense, I've become a master at handling, and then something I'm actively handling. So I suppose this is picking an on-trail ailment. Instead of pick a trail, it's picking an ailment. And so for my running training, I've worked through, and I have not struggled in years on dehydration, and I have not struggled in years on sunburn. However, through hiking is different. And then the third one I'm throwing into this mix is chafing. And chafing is where irritation, it's like I'm out there running and a piece of clothing rubs on my skin. And then the skin can be rubbed raw, and depending on how raw it's rubbed, it could bleed or cause skin irritation. I don't really get blisters with chafing. However, that is one, because we've been having hotter weather, some different moisture, if none other than wildfire smoke, I actually do experience chafing. So I have like actually been running a little bit earlier and sticking with that longer than normal, in part to, I've found that it can be for me heat sensitive, at least in air quality sensitive, my skin, and chafing. So trying to avoid later in the day start, because that might come with chafing. So dehydration is essentially where one struggles with not having enough fluids in one's body to function normally. And that's one. So I'm a dehydration runner, meaning I don't drink fluids up to the start point, like a bunch of fluids. I drink water, you know, I pace it out, and then I have like sips, like carefully calculated sips up to the start, go on my walk run, don't consume any beverages or liquids while I'm out, and then I am allowed to drink afterwards. So deliberate, I'm like, that's kind of weird. Yeah, my system doesn't handle liquids well. If I drink up until my start, I can't quite perform properly. So it's something I've just learned about myself by being my own coach and being a runner. So that's one on trail that I think I could translate my skills to. However, how severely water rations need to be, where's the water source, that kind of thing, matter a lot with hiking. And then there's sunburn, so that's exposure to the sun, and the sun gets such a high dosage of solar radiation from the sun, that it actually burns the skin. That one would not be fun. I think And I've taken a lifestyle where I've actually previously, at age 22, I was diagnosed with skin cancer, melanoma in situ, and they were able to cut it all out. And so I've taken an approach to, yes, I wear sunscreen, I also cover up, even if it's hot. And so that would potentially very much impact, like, because I need to stay covered because of my medical history, and my skin and that kind of stuff. There's a bit of, if I'm a little bit hotter, I might not be hiking as many miles or as fast. So for that one, that one's like severe, right? Like a cancer level in my history. So that's one I really need to avoid. So ideally no problems, but I don't know if that's possible. I've been road running, returned in August 2023 and haven't had a sunburn. So I'm pretty good at this. I did not used to be. It took a lot. Yeah. And then up last is chafing. This is one where my skin rubs, my backpack rubs, and through hiking me with a backpack on. I'm like, I'm struggling with my just training clothes. Having a pack on would require mediation, especially since it comes with hotter weather or changes in air quality and that kind of stuff. For me, I'm thinking I'd be like, take an extra towel or something to pack as padding under the backpack straps, or not extra, but maybe extra X. What if it stretches out? I was like, I could put a pair of socks under each backpack strap, but then like if that rubs holes in the socks, that's not really great. So maybe like an extra padding or something. And for the pack itself, as for clothing, adjusting if/as I can. But yeah, chafing. For picking an on-trail ailment, I think I'm going to go with chafing, because I'm not a master at that, and I might actually be one of those things that like I would actually have to fixate on the entire through hike. So